everyone. I wanted to address another question that I received, and this was done in IG Live. So for those of you who could not attend, hopefully you can join me next week at 6 p.m. on IG Live. And my Instagram name is @BinaPatel, Ph.D. The question is, what should I do if I have been passed up for a promotion over and over again in the company that I've been working at? Is it gender discrimination? Is it sexual discrimination, sexual orientation discrimination? Or is it that there's race involved? What are the factors that I feel are the reason that I was passed over for the job promotion? So I tell employees the first thing to do when you feel as though you've been passed over, or you know that you've been passed over, is to wait for the position to be backfilled and the announcement to be made of who they hired. When you go and ask a manager, why didn't I get this job? Know that you're putting them in a very sensitive position, and sometimes they can't tell you until the job announcement is closed, but also that they've actually backfilled it and announced who they've hired against it. They cannot talk about it, and they should not, in my opinion, because it creates a lot of turmoil and puts them again in a very precarious position. So once a position has been closed, it's been announced who's been hired, just know that you have to be grateful for the opportunity that you received to interview, and if you did. And if you did not, then go back and find out from the hiring manager, what could you have done better to be a better qualified candidate? Sometimes you just lack the skills that they're looking for, and it's okay to ask the hiring manager, were there gaps that you found insufficient in my resume that didn't make me qualify for the interview, or that if I did get the interview, what could I have done better? Getting this type of feedback is really showing a manager that you not only want to grow, but you're interested in growing yourself. And that carries a lot of weight because you want to progress your skills, you want to progress your knowledge, and you're not afraid to ask. A lot of employees, you will be surprised, feel entitled to get a promotion. Guess what, guys? Does not work that way. We all have to go the hard way. We have to do it fairly and equitably because it's a liability for the organization. And if this happens consistently, where you are passed up for a promotion, not within the same department, but within the same organization, and you're not getting, very good feedback, like detailed feedback as what you could have done better, or if you get something general like, well, you were good, but, we weren't looking for you really, and then you find out that an individual who doesn't really have the experience or the skill set to be hired is now all of a sudden hired, guess what? This is not a good place for you to be, and it's time to start looking for another opportunity elsewhere. And the reason that I say that is because you're going to be that hamster on that wheel, just going at it and spinning it until you just are exhausted mentally and physically and emotionally. And you don't want to hit that spot. You always want to leave on a high note. So if you see that there's a trend and a pattern with how managers are hired, or how managers do hire, think about it this way. Again, if the skills and values of what you bring to the table doesn't add up to what they're hiring or the types of candidates they're hiring, then it is time to move on. And sometimes it's not just because it's racial or gender bias, it's simply that, I don't know, maybe you're just not who they want, and you're not who they want to backfill, or you don't represent who the hiring manager is because you're not like that person. So in terms of attitude and beliefs and skills and whatnot. So I hope that helps. If you have any more questions, feel free to message me, and join me again next week with Dr. Sonia Ashok to talk about happiness and workplace coaching. Thank you.